Yetta, there's over 2,000.
2,000 of what?
2,000 scriptures from God on possessions and wealth and all kinds of stuff.
Money stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving forward with the Dekker Team. Moving forward together with the Dekker Team.
Welcome to another episode of Life's Inside Track. I'm Yetta Dekker.
And I'm Ken Dekker.
And it's where we get to share techniques, thoughts, tips, tools, and tactics that we all need. We all deserve. You, I, everyone. So we can turn our house into home, our families thrive, we get to live the best life possible, and build wealth wisely through real estate, because it was actually God's idea.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to consider that the best wisdom around money probably doesn't come from us or come from institutions or even come from our parents or the culture. The best wisdom we can get around anything to do with money or possessions, well, actually anything, but let's start with the money piece, is from the Bible.
Yeah. Well, 2,000 scriptures. I think God knew that we would struggle, me, you, us, maybe even you, the listener, with money, with possessions, whether it be the feelings of greed or the feelings of lack or the worry of not enough. All of these things are addressed in the Bible.
And I think that's amazing because it's where we've gotten most of our wisdom from, and maybe the backstory real short, because this is a show about God's wisdom. And when we didn't have it, we were upside down. Debt consolidated at least 3 times. We almost lost the house that we were living in, plus the house that we were moving to. Our credit cards were, we'd max out one and pay it off with the other one, or not pay it off, make a minimum payment. We had all kinds of crazy stuff because we didn't know. And then we came to faith in 1991. Our journey started. Mm-hmm. And then our first learnings, many of them were around money.
Yeah.
Managing Money God's Way by Ron Blue was the first mini course that we did, and video course and book that we read. And then we started doing it differently according to scripture. Yeah. And life actually got a lot easier. Not only did money get easier, everything got easier.
Yeah, and when things are easier, they're more fun.
They are more fun.
And what I discovered is it's more fun to follow the financial rules that God has placed in the Bible than it is to go against them. It kind of like, it's more fun to recognize that gravity will take you down if you jump off the roof than not following that law and deciding you're going to jump.
Right. It's so cool. And then one of our local authors, everybody might know Lauren Jackson. If you don't, you ought to. He owns or runs an organization called CNCF. And he wrote a book years ago that I absolutely love. Read the book. I don't know that I remember all the details of what was in the book. The title, though, is with me every single day. And that is, after the faith decision, all else is stewardship. And so finances is really a stewardship decision. What do we do with it? How do we do with it? How do we earn it? Yeah, because we'll talk about some scriptures that, well, I'm going to, spoiler alert.
No, don't do it.
I'm going to go to Proverbs 13:11 right now before we go to my favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
You're going to do that?
Yeah,
okay,
I am.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Proverbs 13:11 talks about, I'm paraphrasing, forgetting about the get-rich-quick schemes and also earning money dishonestly, because it never goes well when you earn it dishonestly, right? So you want to do it little by little, bit by bit, and do it correctly, which correctly is God's principles.
Yeah, and that's Proverbs 13:11
is what I said.
Yep. And there's another scripture. I don't know the scripture, but it just popped in my head. And
so you're going to do a spoiler alert too?
Yeah, no, it just popped in my head. Don't what is it? Diminish or small beginnings.
Don't despise small beginnings.
Yes. And in finances, everyone should start small, unless you got a giant inheritance or a lottery winning, and we don't do lotteries, and you know what usually happens with those big changes, the big inheritance, the big lottery win is it doesn't go well because it hasn't been earned little by little. And the learning on how to build wealth, the learning on how to accumulate it, how to, I'll use the word, restrain our impulses.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we could do a whole show on restraint.
Hasn't been.
And impulsiveness, right?
Hasn't been developed.
Right. And so little by little is the best strategy.
Mm-hmm.
So in Proverbs 31:16, which is one of my favorite scriptures about money, because there's this really wise chick. What?
Yeah. I just thinking back to that day and age and you're calling a woman a chick.
Yeah. Okay. So the very wise woman that actually was a real estate investor, which is pretty cool because she considered a field and she bought it. And then she also looked at what she could do from a business perspective. So she was an entrepreneur. She was a business owner. Mm-hmm. She moved ahead in a time where it probably wasn't that common for women to do that.
That could be. I never thought of it from that viewpoint.
Oh, yeah.
Whether women would normally have done that.
There aren't too many examples. That's why she's my favorite story around making good use of money. And one of the things we've come up with, not specifically because of her, but certainly she has fed into our belief system that it has gotten harder and harder and harder to do well in business, to do well in investing in real estate. It's not getting easier. It's getting harder because there's more complexities. There's more things to consider. It's just harder. It's not straightforward.
Right.
And so we've created a opportunity for you, for our listener, for those that are part of our community, I'll call it, to join us on June 5th. And you're thinking, June 5th, what decade? No, 2025. So only next year. Join us June 5th for a full day of learning from a very wise young woman, actually, that wrote a book with her dad. Her dad wrote it. She rewrote it, unfortunately, after he passed, on, it's called The Ultimate Sales Machine, and we're doing a boot camp. Ultimate Sales Machine boot camp. Go to the dekkerteam.com website and then join us, because entrepreneurship, we can get lots of wisdom out of the Bible, and some of the tactics of today, the strategies of today, we can learn from others and bring it under the foundation of the biblical principles.
Yeah, so that's June 5th, but they shouldn't wait, right? Because we have the really early bird special.
I call it the early bird.
The early bird. I call it the 2024 pricing. So you'll have basically 1 month for the 2024 pricing to be in effect. So just go to dekkerteam.com.
Yeah.
Now, 3118 is still talking about the same woman.
Yep.
And
the same chick.
The same chick.
Yeah.
And she actually has this entrepreneurial business going where she buys things from the merchants. She will sew things. She'll resell things. And she's making a profit. And from that profit is actually where she's considering the land and buying land.
Right.
Being a land.
So she's being wise with her resources and using what God's gifted her to earn even more.
Yeah. So my question is, how will you dig deep into the Bible for your financial wisdom? And we're glad that we can help position you to build wealth wisely through real estate, because it's about much more than just money.
Moving forward with the Dekker Team.